Yeah.
So y'all familiar with Anthony O'Neill? Y'all know him?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's a finance guy. He used to work for Dave Ramsey. He was the black guy on Dave Ramsey, if you don't remember. He left because he kind of wanted to do his own thing.
He left his black job with Dave Ramsey?
His black job? He had a black job. There's at least one at every company. But he left that job. And he's doing well right now.
Yeah.
For some reason, he was on a relationship panel.
Yeah, which is
So
Your future wifey
he said something very interesting
at
on
Change
that.
Church.
I'm not talking about last time I heard you said church. I'm not talking about change.
Okay.
I'm talking about church, the kingdom of Christ. The reason why I feel as if the actions do not match, and this is not going to be a popular statement, but it's a real statement, and men are scared to say this, but it's the truth. The reason why most men will not try to holler at a woman in the church is because a woman runs her mouth too much. So if I approach, watch this, listen, listen, it's hip. Listen.
You get a
If you got this. Listen. I love it. Listen.
He's John Gibbs' brother.
We got to go to more time. We need to know. Hear it out, women. Here we go. Women, listen. Go ahead, A.O.
Thank you.
Make your point.
Here we go. The reason why is because listen, buddy, if a man tries to holler at one woman inside a Change Church, can I finish? Yes. There you go. Thank you, brother. Thank you. If a man tries to holler at a woman in the church, and if it doesn't go the way that they both would like it to go, right? And then a man leaves, and let's say a month later, he sees another woman inside of the same church. That woman is like, yo, he tried to holler at me. He tried to do this. He tried to do that. Now listen, before y'all even go all like, wait, this ain't me. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is all ladies, but let's be real. This is an action of a lot of ladies.
Fact.
And most men will not. I already told PD and Pastor Shamik I was going to come and tell the truth. Most men will not want to approach a woman in the church, even if he really wants to, because he's fearful of if it doesn't go that way, what is my name and reputation after you and I end?
I was like that.
So
I went through that.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You went through that too?
No, I didn't go through that. I had that same mentality where it was like, if I date somebody, I don't want to keep dating married women in this church, so I don't have that reputation.
Yeah, me too.
But I end up with the reputation anyway.
So what?
What was the reputation?
No, I didn't end up with it, but people thought that
What did they think?
Well, because me and Maya's story is basically I used to date Maya's friend before we got together, and that happened. But it was like a couple years later. So some people probably would have that situation. It wasn't like we broke up and then but it took me a minute. It really took my friends to be like, bro, go ask that.
Is Maya and the girl still friends?
Not really.
Because y'all started dating?
Probably so, yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah, she had a +1 at her wedding and invited Maya by herself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it makes sense though. I would understand that.
Yeah. So you waited. That was your biggest fear?
I didn't want. I really am a big person about my name and like how you perceive me, which could be a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think that was my thought. It was like that's why it took me so long because I broke up with her and I ain't date nobody for like a good 3 to 4 years. Like it took me a minute.
We had to convince you.
Yeah. So after that, it was just
seriously.
I was like, okay, but I was very because my sister went to this church. I knew people knew me based off her a lot, and I just wanted that. I didn't want that bad reputation,
like a dog.
Like because I've heard that because it was people that I knew was like I would hear women be like, yo, he a mess. He talked to her, and I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well, how did that hit you when you said y'all talk too much? I thought that was a lot.
He's not lying. For me, and I don't know if the two of you all can attest to this. So me being a foundational Negro black woman from the South, right?
Foundational Negro.
I grew up in a house of cackling women. Like, I listened to a message. I don't know if y'all have heard. I was talking to Sean about this morning. Have you all heard of Jerry Flowers Jr.?
No.
He's please he's wonderful. And so he has these things called Therapy Thursdays, and one of his pastors did a message on we argue too much, and that was the name of it. So I took a listen, and in that message the man said, you were never taught how to disagree. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was never taught how to disagree. And gossiping is a part of not knowing how to disagree, or something not going your way, or something not landing in the way that you want it to land. So you go and you share your experience about it, because you're still, and I can't speak for everyone here, but for myself, God had to deliver me from that, because I would talk about something because I was still in it. And I was still processing it. And so, but I never considered it gossiping. But as I look at my childhood and see how my mom would get on the phone with her sisters when she was, you know what I'm saying, when something didn't go right, or, you know, and that's my pedigree. That's where I come from. So I don't think that it's something that's an awareness. I think that it's just a disappointment. And because it didn't work out, I agree with him now. It's just like, well, it didn't work out for us, so it ain't gonna work out for you because he a lazy, no good. And that's not necessarily true, but it just didn't. You just don't know what to do with those feelings, so you go and you express them. That's my my
venting
perspective. Yeah, yes, Ryan. Venting is gossiping, but you got to know who you can vent to.
Yeah.
You got to know who you can vent to, and under in how you language the conversation. Because I thought I was just venting, but I was gossiping, because I don't go around quoting Angelina Jolie and then I'm gonna shut up. But she said this, and I took it. She said, if you got to tell more than 2 or 3 people, you're looking for an audience. You're not looking for advice. You're looking for an audience.
That is good. That is good. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think that makes sense. When I heard it, a few things came to mind. Well, actually, first to your point, I think externally processing is a thing. Like, some people need to talk it out to understand, to process, to internalize it properly. And so that might look like them talking to multiple people. And I don't think that is necessarily, I mean, I think the motivation is different based on the person. So just because somebody is an external processor doesn't mean their intention is to gossip. It really could just be them trying to process. And I lean more on the side of internal processing, but I am intentional about the people I choose to externally process with. So I think that is important. The other thing is, you know, follow Anthony. Got some cool stuff to say. He's cool from what I've seen. But I just, y'all know me. I really think words are important. The way we communicate things are important. And so I think saying, oh, women be out here talking too much just has a negative connotation to it. I think maybe suggesting like, okay, this is something I've observed. How do you all think that you could better navigate communicating to one another? Because the other thing I think is, a lot of times, at least what I've experienced and I've been processing through recently as a woman, thinking about dating, wanting to be married, there's this very real reality that sometimes we feel like we don't have a lot of power in the situation. It's like, okay, the man a lot of times might be the one making decisions and choices, and our power may feel limited. And so I think having to navigate that, maybe our way of talking is a way of feeling like, I have voice, I have agency. This is my way of having some form of power. So I think just simplifying it down to this very catty, women talk too much, that's an oversimplification. But I understand how that could cause a man to feel uncomfortable, right? But yeah, just think about if you was processing something and you was struggling and you was watching, you might want to go talk to some folks too, you know? So I think, yeah, just having grace for that as a man would be helpful, because thinking it's just catty is, like I said, an oversimplification. So
well said.
Oh, okay.
Well said.
I think his point was that the reason why it's talked about is because he may have hurt that woman's feelings. Like, honestly, he may have dated that woman. It didn't work out, and now she sees him with somebody else, and it's like that messed her up. That jacked her up. I gotta
warn her.
Yeah, I gotta warn her, and I gotta warn these other women too.
Right.
Which in essence isn't a bad thing, because it's like, if he did me dirty, most likely he's going to do you dirty.
Not true. I don't agree with that.
But
that is a thought.
But that's a thought process of, I got it all together. Why not me? Why not me? Why is he with her? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Especially for I know I've heard guys say this about other guys, like, why he getting married? I got more swag than him. I'm more like.
That's why.
It pulls out the
I'm serious. I'm more like, I'm more muscular than him. I got more money than him. Why is God choosing him over me? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying the same thing. Like, I'm just saying, I've heard men talk like why is he getting married than me? You know what I mean?
I hadn't heard that.
I heard the Negroes be like, hold on a little longer. Don't give in. Don't throw in the towel yet.
Right. On the flip side, when I heard the clip, I was like, this is giving lack of accountability.
Preach, queen.
And with a lot of men, in my observation, they don't operate prayerfully. So if this is your action.
Preach, queen.
If you are going around just dating anything, like the world.
Hello.
You just dating.
Speak on it.
And you're not prayerfully asking the Lord, I like this woman. She's beautiful. Should I pursue her?
Preach.
Are you doing that?
Preach.
Because at the end of the day, people can say what they want about you, but your character is going to precede you.
Hello.
And is she saying something that is true?
Right. Is it hitting
Is she proving your actions?
Right.
You don't want to call yourself a dog, are you?
Yeah.
Rough. Right. If it bark like a dog, I mean, at this point. So are you operating in grace and operating in a way that shields and protects her feelings?
Hello.
Because she is your sister in Christ. This action, I feel like, takes place before you're married. Like, when you're approaching women, you need to see them as women, as sisters in Christ, how God views his daughters. So if you're doing that more prayerfully and you're operating more gracefully and operating more prayerfully, I think they may have less negative things to say about you, even if their feelings are hurt. And
100%.
If their feelings are hurt and they're talking because people know your character and the way you operate, they may be like, her feelings hurt.
And I agree. And men have to start taking accountability, because when you look at the family structure, it's God the head, the man, and the woman, and then do all things with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And women have to talk. You seem, Miracle, like you're very introspective. You know what I mean? That you are very, very cognizant of your language before you speak. Me, I was raised to get down in the sand with it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't fixing to. Like, you're not about to talk to me.
Yeah.
You ain't about to do me, and basically kind of almost treating him like an enemy and not understanding that he's my support. And this is me being fully transparent. And however, in that same breath, as two things can be true at the same time, men have to start taking accountability. Like, this woman is the weaker vessel. She is demure, and she should be treated as such, not less than an equal.
Right.
But there are certain sensitivities that a woman needs. Yes, James.
I feel like y'all had some great dialogue. I learned a lot of stuff today. I'm not gonna lie. But kind of what you were saying just now, like the competition piece, that's what I really see a lot, especially when I see these panels like in black churches and things of that nature. There's always where it's like, even you talking about marriage and these different things, it's always like, well, the man does this, the woman does this, and almost like we're put against each other.
Absolutely.
So what I would like to think it should be is, okay, it's a man of God, it's a woman of God. I respect this woman of God. I respect this man of God. So when situations come about, if we're both prayerful, we're both filled with the Holy Spirit, instead of us being at odds on certain topics such as this, how can we come together to fix the situation? It's not me against you, it's us against the situation, because as a whole, it's making both of us look bad. It's making black men look like we're not accountable, like we don't want to be held under any kind of, you know what I'm saying, responsible or nothing like this. And women make women look like, oh, they just catty and gossipy and is always confrontational. And none of those are the case 100% of the time.
Because walking with Christ, and I'm going to just be honest, walking with Christ make people feel like they look like a punk. You know what I'm saying? It makes them feel like they're accepting disrespect. They're accepting these things, but it's like you're just being humble. Like, what's wrong with apologizing first? Even though you haven't done anything necessarily wrong, like as a believer, it is our duty and respect. You know how many times I done had to, apologize, and I feel like I don't owe you that, but because I value the relationship and because I value you as a person, and I know that this is what it's going to take to move on, to get to safety, then I'm going to initiate that, and I'm going to accept responsibility for my part. Now, what God is working on me in, being honest, as I accept my part, I gotta let the Lord let you do your part. It's not my responsibility to point out the speck in your eye while I'm working on the log in my own.
So what you said though is true though. Like what you're saying is that's the perfect. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, the confrontation though, that's what we're bred in. Like men against men, women against women. I hear women say all the time, I don't like being around other women because they gossip and they catty and they this and that. I don't get along with. I get along better with men. We hear women say that all the time. But when a man comes out and says the same thing that the woman says, now it's like, how dare he say that? So it's like we can say it about each other, but a man can't say it. I'm not saying he was right or wrong or indifferent.
So I will say this. I'm very proud of you guys. You guys are very gracious because I was going to be harsher. The guys that I know in the church that complained about this, I had never thought about this. The guys in the church that complained about this were the dogs.
Yeah.
So